Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to my podcast, Focus. My name is Lucas Kolpanut. This is episode number 8. And today we got another guest on the show. So welcome, Julian Tillotson. And what's up, man? How you doing?
What's happening, man? I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to have you on.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. You reached out, and I said absolutely. So, like I said, I'm an open book. Ask me whatever you want. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And dude, it helps that you also live in Chicago. I don't want to say I live in Chicago. Sometimes people get mad about that. I'm in a suburb, but you know. I like it.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I'm currently at our offices in the West Loop, making shit happen, man. It's Monday, so Monday comes with a lot of putting fires out. So that's what I'm kind of doing today. But like I said, let's go.
Yeah, all right. So why don't you tell the listeners a bit about yourself? Because, I personally think you have a very interesting story, and what you've done over at your production company, which you can talk a little bit about, I think is very interesting. So maybe chat a bit about that.
Yeah, how far you want me to go back?
Dude, I don't know. I always think it's interesting to see how you got into this at the beginning. So
okay.
I guess what made you start filmmaking?
Yeah, man, I got into filmmaking when I was 13. I saved up money for 2 years and bought a Sony Handycam, 8mm Handycam out of Crutchfield magazine. And, back in the day, I was heavily involved with, skate culture, graffiti, hip-hop DJing, like all that fly shit. Like, I was there. That's what me and my friends were doing. My first tattoo is a turntable on my wrist. So, that whole culture, rave scene culture, I was there, like late 90s. Early 2000s, I was super heavily involved, graffiti, that kind of deal. And I was just kind of documenting it back in the day. I was shooting everything. I just like to, shoot, the kind of the shit that we were doing because I thought it was cool, and like, rewind it and show it back to the homies kind of a thing. Like, damn, check this out, look at what we did kind of a thing. So that's where it all started. I went to Columbia College. I was shooting, film all through high school. Decided I want to do this film school kind of a deal. So went to Columbia, got a majored in, film, minored in graphic design. But, I was crazy. I was doing all sorts of other shit that made me not focus on school. So I kind of got through 3 years of college. And, after that, I kind of got... I guess you could say derailed, but I took a turn and jumped into sales heavy duty. So I was in sales, selling cars. You know what I mean? From there, I graduated to, I was like, at the time I was, 20, 21, 22. I was like, I ain't gonna do this shit forever. Nobody wants to be a used car salesman forever. But the truth of the matter is that I would have never learned how to be such a good salesperson as if I would have never did that job. Because I was at Rockenbach Chevrolet, which is the largest dealership in the Midwest, with 52 other salesmen, and here's me, this young little motherfucker coming in there and trying to take business away from these dudes. So it really taught me the whole you got to kill to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like 100% commission, no salary, no nothing. So that taught me that. But then I got out of that, and got into being a loan officer, learning the finance side of things. How that kind of thing works. From there, graduated into doing some real estate development, flipping, that kind of thing, owning some apartment buildings. So, it all started from there, and that kind of got me to where INDIRAP is. When I was doing all those things, you're talking like, 04 through 09, that kind of deal. Like, I was always using video or some kind of audio component to kind of sell myself. I had what's called a podcast now. I was doing a podcast in like 06. I was just using it. I was just sitting down and like talking to people talking to loan officers about finance, or like, how to leverage, your home in other investments, or interest rates or shit like that. Like, I've always been in love with just documenting my journey and like looking at it and seeing how fucking cool it is, a few years down the road. So that's kind of what I did. And in 2010, YouTube was really, really, really taking off, and the real estate market crashed, lost my ass in that, and it was like, what do I really want to do? And I love filmmaking. That's my heart. And it's not even about filmmaking, you know what I mean? That's not really the word. I just like to make shit look dope. You know what I'm saying? And, at the time, corporate video was really like, you hear the word corporate video and you think of some boring motherfucker in a suit in some 20-minute talking head video that nobody wants to watch. And it's like, for that whole era of time, that's all I talked to. I sat in rooms with people, business owners, people that, really they had their mind on right. They knew how to operate and run a business. But when it came to marketing that business, they had no idea. And I saw YouTube ready to explode. And it's like, I could take these people's stories and I could translate it into some shit that would actually engage your audience and make them want to buy their product or service using video content. This is back in 2010. So I was like, I could turn this into a hustle. So I took $1,200. I went on, I think it was eBay. I bought a Canon 60D and 2 Tamron lenses, 2 shitty variable aperture 4.5/5.6 Tamron lenses. And I just got busy, man. I just started shooting. I picked up a CS magazine, and I just started calling the most expensive, high-end, boutiques, fitness spots. I called every business that I could, just cold calling them. 100 calls a day, just telling them, hey, let me shoot video for you right now. Or property tours weren't even a thing. You know what I mean? I was probably the first person shooting property tours. In Chicago, I was calling at properties agents like, yo, let me come and shoot a video of your property. And back then it's like, what the fuck do I need video for? What are you talking about? So, I'll cut to the chase. I built a portfolio, and I knew how to sell and market it. And slowly but surely, I built a big portfolio, built a big client base. And here we are over a decade later, knee deep in the business, exploding at the seams, man. There's 15 of us right now, a number of freelancers and part-timers, and we have a super established brand. We have very happy client base, and I feel like we're just getting started, man, to be honest.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I mean, basically, it took you years and years and years of learning how to be a salesperson to begin to get where you are right now, right? I mean, like, there's no way you could have made that switch right out of college. So like, that experience kind of brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, man, I mean, that's the main differentiator for me. It's like, I talk to creatives all day long. I talk to camera operators, photographers, and it's like, the truth of the matter is that everybody's got a camera right now. Everybody's on Instagram doing the creative part that's a very small percentage of what goes into actually running a successful business. And they don't tell you that in school. The sales and the marketing of yourself, and how the customer experience and how you talk to them and whether you sound professional or not and making them feel comfortable. That's all stuff that I learned being in sales. When you're standing on a car lot and you already have, car salesmen have a bad reputation to begin with, and you're calling somebody to come and, buy a car from you, and you have to break that wall down in an instant in terms of you're a scummy car salesman to them actually trusting you and purchasing a vehicle from you. That's if you can do that's called hard selling. Selling content these days, that's not a hard sell. Everybody knows they need this shit. So what you really need to focus on is the customer experience, making them happy and making sure that they love you enough to become a repeat customer. And that's kind of what I built this business on. It's not necessarily about the video. We do the video and the pretty stuff. We do that shit with our eyes closed. But that's not necessarily why people do business with us. People do business with people they like, and they love our experiences, man. When they're talking to our editor, we've had customers send our editors gifts because of the way that they treated them. They love the way that they're treated here. It's not necessarily about the image. So that's a great starting point, but you got to think about everything else if you really want to build.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're solving people's problems, you're making them happy, and you're making it easy. And that's super important. And that's kind of a lot of what you're talking about now are things that I've learned somewhat recently. And I mean, dude, everyone is talented. Everyone has a camera. Everyone's on Instagram and YouTube. Yep. So that's how you separate yourself from everyone else. Yeah, that's huge.
Yep.
Yeah. So at INDIRAP, INDIRAP, your production company, you started to hire more people. What was that like? I'm interested because I could see myself hiring someone down the line. what was it like when you hired your first person or your first employee, and what made you, to kind of take that leap in the direction of expanding your business?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I would recommend is and I get this question a lot in terms of like who's the first hire. For me personally, I immersed myself in every aspect of the business. So I sold everything. You know what I mean? I shot everything. I edited everything. I sent out all I understood my entire business before I hired anyone, because in bringing someone on, I want to make sure that they're doing the job the correct way and that I'm able to speak to them at some level in terms of what they do, whether they're on the sales side, on the creative side, editing, pre-production. Like, I understand every aspect of my business because I've done it all. So I definitely would say do that, definitely, because if you don't do that, what you're doing is you're opening yourself up to be taken advantage of. So, for me, those first couple years for me look like, sleeping in 20-minute increments because I had a Pentium 2 processor, dual core processor that took 4 hours to render out a fucking 2-minute video. So, and while that was going on, I was on set shooting. In between shoots, in between shooting and editing, I'm taking sales calls, setting up next shoots. So like, as you're doing that, you start to hit a peak. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what do you do next? For me, it was, finding someone that could help me shoot and edit. So finding someone to where if I'm shooting, I could pump off these edits that they can help me turn shit around. There was one point in my life where I had 25 edits to myself that I had to get done. Like, talk about drowning. So there's that, like making sure that you're able to fulfill your pipeline, whether that's with another shooter or another editor, right? And on top of that, like, if you're really looking to scale, you have to have someone that can help you sell. You have to have someone that understands your products and your customers, that can kind of help you, be on the phone and talk and call people constantly. Basically putting your face in front of new customers, because the truth of the matter is that when you are on set, you're not selling. When you're on set, you're not editing. When you're editing, you're not talking to customers. Like, you have to break your business up into those categories, and you just have to slowly fill those in with people that can handle those jobs. You're not going to be able to do it all at once. You just have to do it one piece at a time, and when you do that piece, you have to make sure that that time that you're gaining back from that other person, that you're using it to scale your business. And I just did it piece by piece and piece by piece, one person here, one person there, one person there. And at the same time, I'm still busting my ass to help grow and scale the company and make sure that the product is the best, the sales product is the best. Optimizing our systems and processes. That's probably what I spend the most time that I do these days, is just optimizing the business as a whole, making sure that our systems and processes are super tight. And that's an ongoing kind of thing. It's never good enough. You know what I mean? When we roll out new products or deal with a new client that's giving us 20, 30 videos a month, is like, how do I optimize this process for them to where it's easy and we can do it with our eyes closed? So, that's really how you build, man. It's one piece at a time. It's a marathon. This is not like, again, like, I've seen so many production companies disappear, come and go, photographers, content creators. I see them come in, they sprint, they do their thing. 3-4 months later, they start losing steam, and in that 6 month, they then disappears because they're not in it for the long term. Like, INDIRAP is going to be here forever. INDIRAP's not going anywhere. That's why we've been here for so long, is because, we are here to help our clients grow and grow with our clients. We're not here to impress anyone. We're here to impress our clients, make sure that their businesses, their sales, their marketing, their HR, and their training initiatives are constantly being better. How do we add more value for those clients? How do we make the customer experience better? That's what we're focused on. We're not focused on anything outside of INDIRAP and what we're doing here and what our clients want. We're not focused on Instagram. We're not focused on any external bullshit. We're not worried about what other people are doing. We constantly we have a brand meeting every week, and we constructively criticize everything that we're doing to help us grow as a whole. That's what's gotten us to where we are, man.
Yeah, that's amazing. That mindset of always improving. And that's obviously what's made you so successful and made you be able to last. Because there's a lot of companies, like you were saying, or just individuals who start, they don't have that long-term mindset. I mean, they're not prepared to be editing 25 videos like you said you were at a
Yeah.
time. They're not prepared to do that. And most people in a situation like that, or in a situation where they don't have any clients at all after the first month, they just quit. They just quit, man. And I mean, that's
Yeah,
having that
and
mindset
another
is
thing,
huge for you.
another thing is like you got to decide early on, like, do you want to be like the superstar content creator, or do you want to start a business? Because that's night and day. You know what I mean? Like, there's two totally different worlds. That's, running a business is running a business with employees and systems and processes and all this stuff, and having different departments and all these things. I never wanted to be, there's never been a JulianTillotson.com, right? It's always been INDIRAP, because I knew I wanted to build a business and a brand, because I didn't want to be the guy that, oh, I want you to shoot my stuff, or I want you have to be here. No, I want to build a company to where I can service multiple people, right? I want to service multiple, I want to service clients at scale. I can't do it all. I don't want to be the superstar. I'm just the host, as I always say. I'm just the host here at INDIRAP. I don't want to be JulianTillotson.com, cinematographer and editor and director. That just never appealed to me. Personally, there's nothing wrong with that, but like for me, I knew from day one that I wanted to build a brand, which is why INDIRAP has always been the focus since the beginning, not Julian Tillotson.
Right. And I think if you can elaborate more on this, but if you have that mindset from the beginning, you're prepared to hire more people. You're prepared and willing to do that. I think if it had just been your name, if it was all about you, you'd most likely be more reluctant to actually get more people on board, giving you the help that you need to run successfully.
Yeah, I mean, when you make something all about yourself, you become the liability. You end up getting in your own way, because for a lot of people, it's ego. It's thinking that that only you can do it this good, or that you don't trust people, or that people's egos, especially in the creative world, get in their ways most of the time. You have to take yourself out of the equation, because you got to think about it, man. Say you want to do this, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Do you always want to have to be on set, or do you want to have the option to go to Paris, or go on vacation, or what I'm saying, do something else, or start another business, or buy real estate, or do other things? Like, you have to think. At some point, long term, what do you really want to do? Do you want to be tied to your name, tied to everything and all the scaling and growth that's possible for your business, or not? Because if that's the case, you can only go so far. If you build a real brand and a business, you could take that anywhere. You could do anything. You could put teams in place where you don't even have to be a factor. I can disappear today and my company's still going to be running.
Right.
It's still going to be good. So, and that's only because we've built systems and processes to where somebody can take a 1 week vacation. Somebody hit me up like, yo, I need to go here. That's fine. We're still going to be running. Peter needs to take a vacation because he's been grinding hard. Sarah needs to take a vacation. Lydia needs to do what you got to do. The wheels don't fall off. You know what I'm saying? One monkey don't make the show stop, because I built a business. And that's the difference between building a business and just being a content creator.
Yeah. Dude, that's huge. I don't know that many people who are in the industry and have created a successful business in the way that you have. So just hearing you say a lot of these things, people are going to learn a lot from you, man. Like,
I hope so,
people don't think, most people don't think the way you do. And I can just tell the people listening to this, they don't have that mindset yet. At least most of them don't. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just whatever you want to talk about, man, because I'm already just learning a little bit from you too. But that's all.
To be honest, again, I come from I came up with salespeople and hustlers, whether it be real estate developers, real estate investors, salespeople, finance people. These are the people I was running around with in my 20s. I wasn't running around with, you know, the options today to be a creative and the options then. Like when I was in college, it was like go to Hollywood or make music videos. I didn't want to do none of that shit, which is why I dropped out. I was just having too much fun doing graffiti and selling and making money, walking around with cash in my pocket every day. So like, you know, it's just different now. And you know, the people right now, I've kind of created a world to where, you know, I'm able to run around with the kings and queens of industry. You know what I'm saying? Our client roster is pretty serious to where, you know, I'm talking to these, you know, presidents and CEOs and founders and CMOs and people that are really making shit move. And I learned from that. You know, that's one of the reasons why I enjoy this job, is because my knowledge base is so large. Like I've been all over the country doing this stuff. You know what I mean? I've been in the middle of the desert in a credit card factory that prints American Express Platinum cards. You know, I've been in the middle of the mountains shooting with Native Americans in upstate New York. You know what I mean? I've been in some of the largest tech incubators and accelerators in the country. You know what I mean? I've hung out of helicopters with the doors off with 50-pound cameras over skyscrapers, you know, coast to coast. You know what I mean? I've been part of some of the largest, you know, real estate deals, you know, in history in Chicago. And, you know, in doing all that creative from them and sitting in rooms from them and building content around these sales and marketing initiatives, I mean, the shit that you hear, the shit that I've learned, and the game that I've soaked up over the years, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And it's really allowed me personally, you know, from a, you know, financial, from a business, just from an investment side of things, to really flourish and like really do my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a reason we have like, you know, the gear in the offices and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, we're able to do all these things is because I didn't learn all this by myself. I learned by shutting the fuck up and listening. I listened to the people we work with. I listened to my team members, my employees. Like I know that I don't know everything. You know, I fail every day. Like, and I'm glad to fail. I'm happy to be a fuck up, because the people that aren't fucking up aren't learning as much as I do. They can't. It's not possible, because they're not making enough errors. They're not checking the boxes like I have. Like, okay, do this, don't do this. Okay, cool, don't do it. Oh, you lost that money. You lost 10,000 on that. But like, I've been doing that shit for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So I backstroke and swim and thrive in failure. And that's why I've gotten to where I'm at right now. So, you know, that's another thing, is like, just accept it. Like, there's too much perfection right now. Everybody's trying to be perfect with the fucking Instagram, or with the clients they're going. Everybody wants to do, oh, I do Nike, Gatorade. Fuck that shit. Go shoot the pet store. You know what I mean? When I first started, I remember taking a train 3 hours away to go shoot a veterinarian, and the dog ended up pissing all over my camera bag. But I still came back, edited that, put it on my portfolio, man. I remember, you know, shooting these shitty gyms when I first started, and having to chase a check for $150 for 3 months. You know, I remember shooting a wedding and doing the video and the photo, and then when I got back, I lost the hard drive, like, got fucked up to where I lost all the photos. Like, I did all this. It's, you know, and I'm still here. You know what I mean? We're still here because I never took that failure to heart. I always learned from it and kept building this castle on top of it. So yeah. That's another big thing, of course. I mean, the people who are being too careful, who don't want to touch failure, they're not learning anything at all. Nah. They're not, like, nothing at all. Nope.
They're not, because I mean, I've shot one wedding before. I didn't have any huge mess ups, but for example, my battery died when I was supposed to be filming. I quickly switched, and I mean, this is like a very small example. Nothing bad happened, but is that going to happen again? No. It's not. Right. So learning from those things, small or big, and I mean, the thing to remember is that you can keep going like you have. Just, it doesn't mean that that's the end. It means your business is going to be more reputable because you just have more experience. And I mean, yeah. Yeah, man,
it's all about perspective. It's all about how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to, and again, I equate this back to my early years in sales. Like, when you're making, you know, 50 to 100 calls a day, and you're just getting the phone slammed in your face and people telling you to go fuck off, like, failure is nothing to you. Like, you're used to, like, being told you ain't shit. So, it's like, a lot of people that maybe they never were in sales or just never did that might be over their heads. And I thank my experience for teaching me that, because, as a creative, I do know that certain creatives out there, they don't take constructive criticism well. They take it to heart and they take it personally. And that's a flaw. That's not something, if you're really going to grow and really get good at this, you have to be able to accept other people's opinions about your work and not take it to heart, because at the end of the day, you're creating this for them, not for you. You know what I mean? Take your creative vision. There's a time and a place for your creative vision, and there's also a time and a place for the client needs to get what they want. And then maybe in the future you can be a little bit more creative. If every client we do, I don't know, 50, 60, 70 projects a month here at INDIRAP, right? So if we were to able to do every project the way we wanted to, it's impossible. Sometimes we create stuff for clients that we're like, I hate this shit, but that's what they want. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it pays the bills, it keeps the client happy, and then further down the road, they come back and they give us something where we can flex our creative muscle a little bit more. So that's another thing, is like that you got to be able to accept constructive criticism and not take it to heart. It's not about you, it's about the client. And that's a very hard lesson that a lot of us learn. Some people never learn because they're just too sensitive, and that's a flaw.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to think back to projects that I've done maybe, but a lot of creators go through this. They make something, they spend tons of time and effort into it, they deliver it to the client, they absolutely love it, and the client doesn't. And at that point, you have to change it. You have to make the client happy. That's the priority.
Yep.
With a lot of these jobs, and that's just something that a lot of people don't understand.
Yep.
And that's why for a lot of these things, you can't fall in love with a client project like you can with your own personal project.
Right.
Because if you do, that's just going to end up crushing you when they say, take out everything that you put in, all the creative choices that you made.
Yeah, man. Something like that happened as soon as last week. We had a client or an edit we put out there. We're like, yo, this shit is fire. This is crazy. I actually called up Chris Conti, one of our editors. I'm like, yo, this shit is fire. You know what I mean? Can't wait to see the client's reaction. Client hit us back. All the fly shit that we thought was in there, they wanted removed. Half of it was removed. So, it's damn, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't fuck, why is it, I'm not going to argue with a client. It is what it is. When you've done so many projects, you realize these things. When you're first starting out, you might think that it's it's all about you, or that it's not about you. It's really about just, you can't make everybody happy. You can't make everybody happy in life. You can't make your entire family happy. You can't make all your brothers and sisters happy. You can't make fucking yourself happy every day. It's impossible. So you just have to accept it. And the sooner you're accepted, it's like being liberated, man. It's like you're able to, move around a lot more, and just the freedom that comes with that is immeasurable. It's amazing. So I would definitely recommend that constructive criticism, just accept it, love it, and it's gonna on the other end at the light at the end of that tunnel is just a lot brighter for you as a creative.
Yeah, that's something everyone listening to this should really take that to heart. And it's not something that you're going to be able to just flip a switch and automatically take it. I think it took time for me personally to be able to take it and to improve myself because of it. Because sometimes, you get feedback and you're like, you don't even want to take it seriously.
Right.
And it's just you have to, because you might think their opinion is dumb or something, but they're still, they're an individual, they're a person. And if they're thinking something is wrong with it, chances are there's a lot of other people who would think the same thing,
Exactly. Yeah, man. You got to take other people's perspectives into account. You just you have to. We do a lot of projects for, financial and investment and that kind of stuff, and a lot of that stuff's dry. And it is what it is. Some of it's cool, some of it's dry, but you have to think this person you're dealing with. Say you're talking to the CMO of the company. They have to run this piece of content up the chain, right? They got to run it past the CFO, the CEO, the president, the founder, all this stuff. And they're not always going to see eye to eye with you. They have their own objectives as businesses and business owners that they have to accomplish. And that little piece of creative, that fly-in animation, or that you know, the fucking weird, the seamless transition or whatever fly shit you tried to put in there, that might not sell to the investors that they're using it to show this video to. So you have to take these things into account and just accept it. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and that actually brings up another thing I kind of want to talk with you about, which is the experience that you provide your client. And it seems like, just from what we've talked about today, you've kind of mastered that. You have created a system that works for your clients, makes them happy. I mean, pretty much no matter what, and you're able to take the criticism. So what would you recommend to people? Because creating good content is part of it. Knowing how to do that is part of it. But the big part, like you were saying, is marketing and creating an experience that for your clients is enjoyable. So
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, have you started to do that? Or what would you recommend for other people trying to do that as well?
I mean, I'm gonna give you this, man. This is what I use this in every aspect of my business. I use the acronym KISS, K-I-S-S. That stands for Keep It Simple and Stupid, right? And people are like, what the fuck? Why would I do that? Well, complexity does not sell. Nobody ever bought a product because of how complex and difficult it is to use, right? The biggest selling products on the planet Earth, or you know, product or service, are the ones that are extremely simple. 3 easy steps. These are the 5 easy steps. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, you go on YouTube, it's like, here are the top 5 ways, or the top 6 ways. Like that's very attractive to someone, to a potential customer or client. You know, for us, we have a 5-step production process. It starts with an initial phone call with one of our sales reps. That lasts about 15 minutes. You know, once that's done and they decide to come on, we have a pre-production meeting, which may take, you know, 30 minutes to an hour or so. And pre-production is really the most important step for us, because that's really you know, some people call it a client discovery call. But, you know, if you want to go back to what you asked, Lucas, and what makes people work with INDIRAP, it's because we put them first. On this call, we're really asking them, like, tell me about you, who you are, what your brand is, what's your brand voice, what's the look, vibe, and feel of your content. People like to talk about themselves. You know what I mean? And I learned this in sales. You know, a bad salesman goes and pushes, hey, we got the best video and this is what you need, da 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 da. A good salesman says, okay, so you need some content. Talk to me about your company and what you all are doing right now. What are some of the initiatives, you know, who's this going in front of? 2 totally different conversations, right? So it's a really good way to, you know, make your client experience way better is to just shift the conversation from about you and your cameras and what you can do and how you're going to shoot this crazy scene and all this shit, to just talking about what the client wants. You know, I'm probably the best question asker that I've ever met. All I do is ask questions and I shut the fuck up and listen. And when you do that, the client's going to give you every piece of knowledge that you need in order to deliver the absolute best quality product there is. You know, and that's why you look on our Google reviews. We have more Google reviews than any other agency in Chicago, by far. And it's because, again, we shut the fuck up and listen better than anyone else. So that is really what it is, you know. And in being over communicative, we over communicate to our clients. We ask questions, we over communicate. You know, after that pre-production call, you get a pre-production doc that actually blueprints out everything we're going to do on set. It's a doc that everyone on set can use, the client can use, the editors can use. It's really a good all-around doc that keeps everybody on the same page. And that's another thing, like, there's no gray area with what we do here. Everything's black and white. Like, this is what we're going to do, this is the day we're shooting, this is some examples of how the shit's going to look, and then this is the date you're going to get it. You know, we deliver all our products, and after production, we deliver everything in 7 to 10 days or less. You know, there's not another production agency turning shit around that fast on the regular. Like, we do that. On set, you talk about being on set, our shooters are trained to just be the best customer service representatives for the company. Just as everyone on INDIRAP is a salesperson. There is no one that is just I'm just going to be over here and do this. No, if you're going to be at INDIRAP, you're going to interact with the client at some level, and you better know how to sell and talk to them and give them that customer experience that we expect here. So, you know, 2 guys show up with a camera, there's no weirdo shit going on. You go, you shake hands, you look the person in the eye, you run through what's going to happen that day, you tell them exactly at this time we're going to do this, at this time we're going to do this. Super professional, Luke's like, everything is professional, you know, with us. Everything is set up. It's a real business. There's no small talk on set. There's no joking around and shit, like without means, obviously. Obviously, if the client wants to joke around, but we respect their time. We have a sense of urgency, so we deliver their content ASAP because they have marketing and shit to push out. You know, and then our client follow-up is crazy. You know, we're always checking in every 30, 60, 90 days to see how else we can integrate content into their, you know, businesses or brands to help them run better. You know, they know we're not just a transactional videographer person that's like, oh, they're just gonna reach out when they want to do a video. No, we integrate ourselves into their business. We're part of their marketing efforts. They know that they can call us. You know, there's been plenty of times where I've been at dinner and someone will call me and be like, hey, I got this idea. What do you think about this? You know, we establish ourselves as a trusted resource for moving their marketing initiatives forward. And that's what you have to do. You have to get past a lot of video, photography, people, creatives. It's a super transactional relationship that you have with your clients. It's like they call you, you give them a video, you deliver it, and then you don't hear from them again until they need something else. Well, you have to create a relationship-based relationship with them, not a transactional, but an ongoing, you know, and consistently add value. That's why I'm constantly putting out content and sending content to our list of clients on our email list. You know,
Right.
I'm not always asking for the sale. I get all the sales because they know that I'm a fucking expert because I talk about this shit and I really do this. I really run paid ads. I'm really shooting paid ads. I'm really, you know, running around with the best in industry in real estate. You know what I'm saying? We produce this content. Here's the behind the scenes. This is how you integrate it into your email. This is how you integrate it into your, you know, text message strategy. Like, we really do this shit. So it's a whole nother situation. It's a whole nother way that I run this business not as a video production house or a content marketing agency. I run this shit the way that any larger quote unquote traditional business would be ran. You know what I mean? There are systems and operations, there's sales, there's marketing, there's HR, there's client, there's reputation management. You know, there's us putting out content ourselves, there's us shooting content ourselves. Like, we run it as a business, and that is why we're respected, and that is why our clients keep coming back.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you've built up a well-oiled machine that just keeps on working. It works well. People can depend on it and trust it, and that's it seems what you've done so well. That's amazing.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, a real business is supposed to work and run by itself at some level. You know, you shouldn't have to constantly be there and you know, managing it and doing all this kind of stuff. And you know, after 10 years, I can definitely say that we've built something to where that's the case, and it feels good.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think a lot of people don't understand that making your clients happy and laying everything out for them, so it's super simple, super easy. That's one of the most important things, because these people they're reaching out to you
Yep.
to have their problem solved. They don't want to spend time, you know, like you said, there's no gray area. It's just everything is defined clearly, so they don't have to waste time fixing problems or any of that. So
yeah, and there shouldn't be any gray area in terms of your business. Like, you know, you got to look at your business and look at yourself and like, is everything defined? Is your entire process defined? Because if it's not, by the time it gets to the client, you're going to end up dropping the ball because there's gray area there. You're not going to want to know what to do. So, you know, you constantly have to be assessing what your processes are and your systems are to see, like, is this actually working? How do we tweak it? How do we make it better? It's an ongoing thing. There's no, you know, every time we make a new hire or every year when content needs change, you know, this whole post-pandemic shit that happened, like, we were pivoting. We're constantly pivoting. We're constantly like re-architecting everything that we do and innovating so that the client benefits. And that's what you got to do when you're running a, you know, production or any kind of creative agency.
yeah. So I wonder, you just brought up, you know, obviously we're sort of getting out of a pandemic right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that might be picking up again, you know, who knows what's going to happen with that.
Right.
But it'd be interesting to hear for other people trying to run their business or trying to get clients or maintain them. What did you guys do at INDIRAP? What strategies, what pivots did you make so that you were able to still make money, so that you were able to keep your business running through
Yep.
the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll start with the fact that, we're a highly diversified business here. You know what I mean? We don't do one thing, right? So we do the, on the general side of things, we do, brand overview, about us video, events and all that kind of stuff. You got all that. Events are gone, on-set stuff is gone. A lot of people, they specialize in one thing, and if you're only making money doing on-set production, then you probably got wiped out, right? We do that. We do the real estate stuff. We do the social club, the digital management. You know what I mean? Right now we're doing a lot of graphic design and webs. I've diversified into like web design and landing pages and paid ad funnels. So we're so diversified here that when the pandemic hit, we were able to shift from all the on-set stuff to, real estate's an essential business. That ticked up, right? They all needed tours. They all needed Matterports. That shit ticked up. So we never stopped doing that. You know what I mean? As soon as the pandemic hit. Also, when the pandemic hit, I knew that I had to hit the market running right away with some new marketing. So I shot a paid ad. I shot a sales funnel with some training videos and all that stuff. And we blew up INDIRAP Social Club during the pandemic because we knew that everyone needed digital marketing to keep their business up and running, and also at a cost-effective way, because a lot of these companies had laid off their marketing teams and all that stuff. So again, we're super diversified here. Whether it's real estate, whether it's social, whether it's monthly content creation, whether it's creating sales funnels and paid ad funnels, and now, like I said, we're doing the websites, the design. Like, we are on our way to becoming a full-fledged 360-degree content marketing agency here at INDIRAP that works in multiple industries. And with that, no matter what there's a few things that you're always going to need, like food, water, shelter is one of them. And with shelter comes real estate. So that being our niche is something that we're super proud of, you know what I mean? And we are a leader in the real estate industry, and that will never go anywhere. Digital marketing is never going to go anywhere. We're a digital marketing agency now. So again, you have to think, you got to put your, what's the word, Lucas? You can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, we got a bunch of baskets. So if one of those baskets, one or two of those baskets gets knocked over, we're still able to pivot and boom, okay, we're gonna work these two angles right here. So we just move fast. You know what I mean? Every day I'm always thinking about how to pivot to, capitalize on the opportunity that the market presents itself with right now. And right now, the truth of the matter is that, pandemic or not, this is the biggest, opportunity for content creators, digital creators, ever. Because, see, before, we were all calling businesses and calling these brands trying to get them to do video, and they're like, oh, I don't need it. Now the fact that they're not open, a lot of them aren't open, a lot of them don't have all the employees, they're not moving around going to trade shows and shit. They know for a fact that they need video content or photography in order to keep their shit in front of their customers. Like, there's never been a bigger opportunity than right now, ever, to be creating content. So if you position yourself the right way and you're hungry, there's enough out there for everybody to eat. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say that I'm thankful for the pandemic, but because I'm not, but I am. You know what I'm saying? Because it's forced us to really look at our business, see how diversified we were, tweak everything to the point to where it's working the absolute best for our clients, and just fucking run shit. The amount of content that we're doing right now is insane. The amount of clients that are coming through on a daily basis is insane. I'm working on a new ad campaign right now that will be hopefully launched in the next 30 days. That's going to be insane. So, yeah, man, it's just diversify. Just like you do with an investment portfolio, when you're running a business, you got to diversify what your business offerings are. Because again, use the pandemic as an example. If shit goes left, how do you go right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible that you guys were, able to do that. A lot of people didn't do that. There's a lot of creative people, and I think part of the reason they weren't able to do that is because they hadn't built up a business. Would you agree with me that if you had been solo, it probably would have been harder to diversify in that successful way, having a team probably made it easier to do that.
Well,
I would assume.
It depends on how you look at it, because, the truth of the matter is that when you do have a team, and let's talk real businesses and keeping people there. A lot of these businesses laid off their team and laid off people, right? So you have that responsibility. So when you do have a team, you do have to take into consideration payroll, overhead. I got a fly ass office in the West Loop. It's not cheap. I can stand here and tell you that, like, I didn't lay off one person. Everybody was good. Everybody stayed here. That's one of the other things. Like, it's not all about the business for me. Is I really care about my team and my employees. I'll do anything for these people, and they're still here with me. They're loyal. I love them, and vice versa. So, yes, because of those things, we were able to grow as a team, and I have a loyal, team around me. But I'll also say this: like, I started this business in a recession, man. Like, I started this business in 2010. Where it wasn't nobody getting no money. You know what I'm saying? So this wasn't my first rodeo. You know what I mean? I've lost it all before and had to start it over. And it's the hustler in me. Like, I'm a real certified hustler, in terms of like taking lemons and turning it into lemonade and making shit happen. You know what I mean? And like putting it all on my shoulders and putting it all on my back and saying like, all right, homie, what you gonna do now? When I lost my ass in the real estate market, boom, I took the video content that I was creating for myself when I was doing real estate and flipped it into video content company. You know what I'm saying? So
right, yeah.
It's there's a lot of factors. But again, I accept all responsibility for anything that happens to me in this company. And because of that, I'm able to move at a speed that most other content creators or business owners just cannot. And again, because I've done all this shit. I'm an editor, shooter, producer, director, business owner, the whole joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done it all. I know what it takes to do all that at a very high level. And because of that, I know what everyone needs in order to be good and to keep us running up and running very well. So, yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of factors, man, but, me personally, solo or with a team, I'm going to be all right. I'm a grinder. I'm a hustler, man. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm actually also glad you brought that up. You just said you take 100% responsibility for everything, and a lot of what you've been talking about just this entire time are things that mindset changes that I've had recently, just from reading books, taking a course actually. So I mean, like, that is another thing that's huge. I do not have a team built out yet, but for certain things, I'm hiring people on Fiverr. I'm doing, X, Y, and Z, and all of that is your responsibility. If you hire the wrong person, that's on you.
Yep.
Right? So that's another thing that I think, and you could probably attest to this more, but once you have that mindset, your business becomes unstoppable because you're able to learn from the mistakes that you do make.
Yep.
And you're fully in control.
Yeah, man. I mean, you could do it one or two ways. You can sit there and cry and moan and bitch and point at everybody else, and spend your time doing that, or you can just grab your shit up by the boots, stand up, look in the mirror, and be like, all right, I'm about to make some shit happen. Now, what do you think? How do you think you're going to get the best results? Right? Doing the first part or the second part, or not looking in the mirror and looking at everybody else, or looking in the mirror and just making it happen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna just make it happen. You can put me in any situation or anywhere on this earth, and I'm gonna make it happen. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody ever gave me shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in my family they all went to college and got a degree. Got corporate jobs and all that kind of shit. I didn't do any of that. You know what I mean? I was a problem. I was a nightmare. Growing up. You know what I'm saying? I always did what the fuck I wanted to. Sometimes with that being bad, sometimes that being good. But at the end of the day, I could not. I didn't lean on anyone else as an excuse. It was like, dude, you fucked up. Yep. What are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the problem? Like, you're not gonna call mom. You're not gonna call pops and shit. Like, what are you gonna do, dog? And that's just the mentality that I've had since I was like 15 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I've carried this with me for 20-something years. So that's just me again. Like I accept responsibility for everything. I don't blame anyone. I don't, if someone on my team delivers an edit and the client's pissed off, I accept that responsibility because I need to go and train that person to be a better editor, delivery person. That's how deep the shit runs with me.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I mean, you make it happen. That mindset probably is what propels your business forward.
Yeah.
And especially because you started it. That's the mindset that everyone has to have if they're going to start something like INDIRAP or where they are hiring other people.
You have to.
Yeah. All right, Julian, this does not have to be in the podcast, but when do you have to go? How is timing looking for you?
I mean, I could do like another 10 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm trying to think of what else we could talk about. Really, whatever you want. Like it could be 10 minutes, it could be 2. Whatever you want to talk about, you can. Yeah, is there anything else or?
Man, we talked about a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Like, what would somebody want to know?
I'm trying to. So a lot of the people listening to this so far, at least, are beginner creators. They're photographers, filmmakers, but they're beginners. They're just starting.
Yep.
So I'm trying to think of like what valuable information we could give them.
I mean, if you're if you're just starting out as a creator right now, say you just got a camera, you got the kit lens, and you have no book of business, you got a website with nothing on it, I would just tell you this: start working for free. I would just plan on working for the next 6 months for free till you build up a hellified portfolio that you can shop around to your dream clients. You know what I'm saying? And like, sometimes you might not have to do it for free. Most people, they'll pay you $200, $300, $500, right? But just do it at a rate to where, you should be out shooting content every day. When I went home every night, I was shooting 7 days a week. I was filthy, dirty, just from being in the streets, running around, sweating, shooting interviews, shooting in the streets, doing real estate stuff. Like, you should be grinding till your eyes are red to build that portfolio. Because when you have that portfolio, then you're certified. It's like, okay, I've worked with all these people. These are 20 examples of the different types of work that we can do. And on top of that, if you really want to take it a step further, which we do here at INDIRAP and most people don't, get client testimonials on video. Go talk to those happy clients. If you deliver some cool shit for them, it's like, hey, can you talk about how great I am on I'm trying to build my business. I'd love it if you could just say, answer 5 questions about your experiences working with me. Most people are going to be like, hell yeah. Most people love to be on camera. They love to be considered for something like that. And if you want to take it another step further, ask for a review. A lot of people make buying decisions based upon Google reviews. I mean, every time you go on Amazon to buy some shit, you're going to buy from the product that has 5 reviews or the one that's got 500. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my advice. And on top of that, learn how to sell, man, and learn how to market yourself. Like, learn sales. Learn sales. What do they say? They say hustle beats talent every time. That's a fact. I'm sure a lot of you all listen and see a lot of garbage ass photographers or other creatives out there putting out content that's way worse, than what you could potentially deliver, but they got a mouthpiece. They know how to go out there, sell, and market themselves. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the fucking prime example of this whole shit that I'm talking about is Instagram. How many shitty bullshit content creators are there? They got a huge following, they're getting business, but you're just sitting back, you got all this talent in the world, and nobody knows about it. It's because you don't know how to sell in the market. I compare it to having a Ferrari in the garage with no wheels on it. You built this Ferrari, it's sitting in the garage, it's the illest car you ever seen in your life, but you have no wheels on it. You can't drive it out the fucking garage so that everybody can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Put some wheels on that Ferrari, man. The creative part is just the Ferrari. It looks good, it's sexy, but until you put the wheels on it to drive it around, showcase it, put it in some shows, get it on some movie sets and show everybody you got the best Ferrari out there, what are you really doing? You know what I'm saying? So learn how to sell in the market.
Yeah, that's huge. And I also want to say this is something that I did for a while, just to give some perspective to people. I did a ton of free work to build up my portfolio. Mm-hmm. And so I probably did like 5 or to like 10. So maybe not a ton, because at a certain point I started charging, but I did a ton of free photo shoots for families. I did
Right.
free videos. I did a free wedding. And that one, it gives you experience.
Yep.
And then it also builds up your portfolio. People trust you. And just all the things you were saying, they're so true. And free work is extremely powerful.
Yeah, man, you said it like that. That experience is clutch, man. Because look,
Yeah.
you want to go cut your teeth on some free clients, because if you screw that up, they're not gonna be as mad as if somebody that's paying and you screw up. Then you got to refund them the money. They're mad at you. Like, it's a whole other world. So definitely go cut your teeth on those free clients. Like you just said, and make those early mistakes on, so that by the time you hit the big leagues and you got the people with the budgets, your shit is flawless and you look good.
Yeah. I mean, dude, at the end of the day, creating the content is easy.
Yep.
Like going out and taking good photos and good videos, that's not the hard thing.
Nope.
For me at this point, at least. That's just, it's marketing yourself,
it's
selling.
not, man. And I mean, with all of the fucking the cameras and the LUTs and the photos, everybody got this shit. Everybody has Adobe Suite. Everybody got the Sony A7 III, the A7, about to be the A7S III. Like, everybody has this shit. Everybody got the lenses. Anybody can go on YouTube and do this shit. Like, that's not what's gonna get you business. Trust me, it's not. Because I beat those dudes out every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I beat them people out every day because they don't know how to do business. They know how to shoot a pretty picture. But that's on, like, again, that's the Ferrari body. My shit got wheels on it. My Ferrari got wheels on it, and I'm about to put wings on it.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to focus on if you're really serious about creating in business. Like, you know how to make the shit look good. What else though? How are you gonna sell it? How are you gonna market it? Are your processes tight? Is your website converting? Are you running paid? How are you getting in front of like cold traffic? How are people hearing about you? Like, those other aspects of business is what's gonna make you super, super, super successful and put money in your pocket, man. Build a 7-figure business, man. Millions of dollars. Like, that's how you do it. I'm speaking it, again, I don't speak from shit but experience. Like, this is all experience. This is shit that I've dealt with and I deal with on a daily basis and I've done. I've built a 7-figure business I started with a 60D and 2 bullshit Tamron lenses. Okay, that was 2010. It's 2020 right now. We are the number 1 content marketing agency in Chicago, number 1 video production agency in Chicago, highest rated. Again, nobody gave me shit. There are no creatives in my family. I dropped out of college. This is you can do this. You just you gotta focus. You have to not give a fuck what anybody's saying, and you have to be dedicated to your vision, and it'll come true. I promise.
That's incredible. Well, I mean, that's a good place to end it, man. That's perfect. That's perfect.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Julian, for coming on. It was nice to have you and chat with you a little bit.
Yeah, man.
And,
thanks for reaching out, dude. I mean, you've been a long-time supporter, man. I appreciate it, dude. Anything you need, man. Anytime you want to chat it up, you gotta come. Once things open up, quote unquote, again, definitely come swing by the office, say what's up. But yeah, man, I appreciate you, Lucas.
Yeah, man. I would love that. Hopefully, that's sooner than later.
For sure.
Yeah. Also, where can people find you or INDIRAP? Is website, Instagram? What you got?
Yeah, man. You can check us out at INDIRAP.com. You can check us out on Instagram, INDIRAP HD. YouTube, INDIRAP Productions. Everything's either INDIRAP or INDIRAP Productions. The Instagram's INDIRAP HD because I haven't been able to get INDIRAP yet. So there you have it.
All right. And there will be links to all of those pages in the show notes as well.
Cool.
So, yeah, check them out. And, thanks for coming on, man.
All right, Lucas, man. I'll talk to you.
All right. Thank you so much, man. All
Later.
right.